Ships in the water, problem 1. Great, so now that we've already learned about the 4 main formulas for this type of problem, and hopefully you have already written it down on a piece of paper, let's get to the first 2 problems. A ship is sailing between 2 harbors, harbor X and harbor Y. The harbors are 360 kilometers away from each other. Going downstream, notice it's downstream, not upstream, it takes exactly 12 hours. It is known that the water is flowing at 5 kilometers per hour. So what is the speed of the ship in still water? And I'm going to highlight the question as well. Let's analyze the information we know. What are we trying to find first? Well, we're trying to find the speed of the ship in still water. So what does that mean? Remember in the first video, if you listen closely, I said that the speed of the ship is sometimes also worded as the speed of a ship in still water. So the ship speed, so basically we're trying to find the ship speed. And how do we find the ship speed? So I'm going to use V to stand for velocity. And right here I'm going to write ship. So the velocity of the ship is equal to what? It is equal to right here we're going downstream. So the velocity of downstream, right? Downstream speed minus, because this is what we have from one of our equations, minus the velocity of what? The water speed. So the velocity of the water. We know this because the velocity of the ship plus the water equals the velocity of downstream, which in turn means that if we're trying to find the ship speed, all we have to do is subtract the water speed from the downstream speed. Now, do we know the downstream speed and the water speed? What is the downstream speed? Well, we know that 360 kilometers is the total. You know what? I'm just going to write it up here. Is a total distance, and it took 12 hours. So what is the speed? What was the number of kilometers per hour? That's right, we did division. And if you don't get why I'm doing division right now, this is something we learned from the time, speed, and distance formula playlist. So you can go over there and take a look. I will be posting the link in the description down below. Right, so that is our velocity of downstream speed. Then we subtract the water speed. Did it tell us somewhere in this problem, this water speed? Yes. In fact, it directly said that it is known that the water speed is flowing at 5 kilometers per hour. So all we have to do is substitute that in, so subtract 5. Now what is 360 divided by 12? 30 is the answer. Then we still subtract 5, which the final answer is 25. So the speed of the ship in still water is 25 kilometers per hour. So let's move on to B. A fishing boat sails downstream at a speed of 12 kilometers per hour. So it sails downstream at a speed of 12 kilometers per hour. It's directly stating that it's its speed. Going upstream, it's 8 kilometers per hour. So what is the speed of the boat in still water, and what is the speed of the water flowing? So we're trying to find 2 things in this problem. We are trying to find the velocity of the ship itself in still water, and we are trying to find the velocity of the water. To solve this problem, all we have to do is look back at the two formulas we were given about the velocity of the ship and the velocity of the water. So what does it say about our ship? We do, what is that something divided by 2? That is the upstream speed. Do we have that? Yep, 8. Plus the downstream speed, 12. And I'm just going to move this down here. All right. What does this equal? First we do the parentheses, so 20 divided by 2, which is equal to 10. So the velocity of the ship is 10 kilometers per hour. Now we have the first question solved, but there's still the second question, the velocity of the water. When doing problems like this, sometimes it's super frustrating when you do all the math correct, but in the end you just don't answer one question. So notice how I first wrote down what I needed to find. So, the water speed. What is the water speed? The water speed is the downstream speed subtracting the upstream speed, right? And divided by 2. So in here, what is 12 minus 8? That's 4. So 4 divided by 2. 4 divided by 2 equals 2. So therefore, the velocity of the water is 2 kilometers per hour. So I hope you enjoyed this video. These two problems were mainly just kind of the introduction to ships and water problems. It will get harder. And really, all you had to do for these two problems was look at the formulas, because you could just directly use them. And it was just a sense of getting you, revved up with using those four formulas. If you have not written them down yet, I say that you should. You can go back to the last video on chips and water and just write it down. And then you can meet me on the next problem, problem 2.